Welcome to the show, everybody. People have been enjoying these mock drafts as of late here in the off season. So I want to continue on with this episode doing a mock draft from the 6th position. And we're going to go robust RB, something that I love to do. First 5 rounds, it's going to be exciting. 12-person, 1-point PPR. Going to lay it out, pull up the screen here for you. And we're going to dive into this mock draft to see how it looks if we were to go robust RB. Last episode, go back and check it out. It wasn't a good one when we tried the 0 RB, when we went wide receivers early. I didn't like the selection because all the good running backs were gone. And what we're finding from these mock drafts is that 12 running backs at least are coming off within the first 2 rounds. So that's a lot of good running backs off the board. Now, that being said, this is going to be a good year where there's going to be a lot of good running backs coming in. Caleb Johnson, Ashton Genty, right? Omari and Hampton, and on and on and on. Travion Henderson. So there's going to be a lot of good options that, again, depending on where they land, these guys could be expensive as well because people want that very sought out position because it's a scarce position. You want to be able to secure those running backs early because it gets really thin and trim. So we're going to try robust RB right now. If you're new to the channel, smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up. Appreciate your support here. I'm the only one thinking outside the box. Once you listen to how I think things through, you'll start understanding. So subscribe, thumbs up, turn on the bell for daily content. Fantasy football doesn't stop here. Lion mentality, right? Everybody else is lying to you. They're giving you copy and paste cookie cutter rankings. That won't help you, right? That's why 16 rounds is the truth. So make sure you guys pre-order 16 round drafts, which I've linked it below. You can pre-order it, guys. It's going to have all the optimal players drafted in each round, sleepers, breakouts. This is giving you the championship on a silver platter. Nobody thinks like this. Everybody's copying and pasting and so-called playing it safe when it really doesn't help you. It doesn't help you guys, okay? So let's go to this mock draft here. Again, drop a comment below. Let me know. This is a simulation here. What you guys think. Are you going robust RB? Are you going 0? We're going to dive into it. But very, very important. Make sure you guys do get the 16-round draft so you can pre-order it right now using code EARLY to save yourself 25%. All right, get in now. Get in early. You guys get logged in. All right, let's go. So let's talk about it. So here's a simulation. We've got it pulled up. Drafting from the 6th position. Now we are focused on robust RB. We're only looking at running backs. Now, as you could tell, by the 6th pick, Jan, Barkley, and Gibbs already gone. And this is very viable. I've been doing a ton of mock drafts, not only in simulations, but talking to people, getting a feel, looking all over here. And all I keep seeing here is literally, honestly, just running backs coming off very early. And these top 3 are gone within the first 6 picks. So that leaves us to the next available player on the consensus rankings, which is Derrick Henry. Now, I've been going back and forth with a lot of people on social media. Is Derrick Henry going to have one more good year? And I think very well possible. But the big question comes down to, it doesn't matter what he does. What do you want to do? Do you want to take a risk on a guy who's 31 years old, coming off a 1,900 rushing yard season, 300 plus attempts yet again? And I talked about this on my social channel. If you're not following my socials, follow, turn on the bell, all the channels. Genty was meeting with the Ravens. They're picking like 27th, unless they move up to grab Genty, which I don't think they will. I mean, even if they do, I mean, there's so many other people that want him. Why would you be flirting and talking to Genty when you've got the so-called Derrick Henry, right? So that tells me right there, that's an indicator for me that they're ready to move on from Derrick Henry. They know that it's the end of the line, right? So now we got these options here when we're looking at them. We're on the 6th pick. Genty's there, Taylor and Henry. Time is recording. We don't know where Genty is going to land. By the way, I'm having a pre-workout here. I'm getting a workout done after this video, so I'd like to drink my pre-workout drink before. As you get older, you kind of need a little bit more incentive to work out. So getting a little bit of some beta-alanine and some caffeine in you. It's not a hard pre-workout. I take like half a scoop, but just gets me a little bit juiced up before the workout. So that might bring the energy here in this mock draft. So the best available is got to be Genty here. I mean, I don't know where he's going to land. There's speculation. The Patriots are looking at him is what I'm hearing. And then there's I heard the Bears. I heard the Raiders. I heard the Cowboys at 12. I don't think he's going to fall to 12. That's the thing, right? And I don't know, man, but I just posted a video of him, man, on my Instagram. That's why I got to follow on social, turn on the bell. The guy looks like an absolute monster. He looks like a beast. He looks amazing. He's everything I love in a running back. Now, my worst fear is that hopefully they don't put him in a committee. and that's the kind of the trend right now with everything running backs. It's always about committees. Let's hope he doesn't end up in one. So we're on the 6th pick. Joe, just pick. All right, I'm going to go Genty here, assuming he's going to be a workhorse, assuming he's going to be in a situation where he's going to eat. And I think the Raiders are great. Now they added Geno Smith, should get the start. And, you know, I don't know, man, that team needs help, but Genty's definitely going to help them. I was loving Zamir White last year, but he just ended up sucking. But he was in a great situation. Now you've got a true running back that could actually do something there. I don't know. I think he's going to end up on the Raiders. I can't wait to see where he ends up, but the caliber, the talent is absolutely amazing. And I love him. And compared to Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor at that current ADP, give me him. And then you got other guys like Puka, who's got company there with Adams and CeeDee Lamb. So all these wide receivers, some of them are going to be viable. I love Brian Thomas, but I liked him in the 8th or 9th round last year where we were getting him. If you guys got 16 rounds last year by Draft Solution, I was suggesting Brian Thomas in all my leagues, fade Debo, Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk type caliber players in the 3rd round. Get yourself the guys that are going to be the ones later in the rounds. And I remember last year, everybody had Christian Kirk ahead of Brian Thomas. I'm like, what are you doing? Right? This is why consensus rankings won't help you. Okay. So Jonathan Taylor came off here early 2nd, but let's go. Byjan, let's go through if you're listening in the car. Byjan, Chase, Barkley, Gibbs, Jefferson, Genty, CeeDee Lamb, Puka, Derrick Henry, Nico, Amon-Ra, and Brian Thomas. But as you can see here, 5 running backs already off in the 1st round. As we're rolling into the 2nd round, we see Taylor, A.J. Brown, Josh Jacobs here, coming off the 3rd pick, 2nd round. Achane, who I think is going to decline. He's sitting 5th amongst running backs right now in the rankings PPR, and he finished 5th amongst running backs. Very copy and paste generic stuff. And I talked about it in my last video on a guy I'm going to avoid. It's Achane. Very expensive for a guy who's finished 1 year and then the year before got hurt. I'm not sure what to expect out of him. I don't know if I trust Miami, but it is what it is. Malik Neighbors, I like him now with the acquisition of Russell Wilson. I think that he's going to get the ball there efficiently to him. And then you've got Brock Bowers, very expensive, a guy that we were getting for value in the 16-round draft solution. So as I stir my pre-workout drink to keep it stirred, I look at the options here that are sitting and staring at me at the running back position when I'm in the 2nd round here, mid-2nd round at the 2.07. I ask myself, what do we do here? You know, Bucky Irving, I think he takes a step up this year. Obviously, he's kind of solidified his role as the number 1. And then you've got Kyron Williams, who I absolutely love. And we know that situation. We know that Blake Corum was drafted with relatively high draft capital. I think he was a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick. And he ended up not getting the work. Kyron's the guy. As long as he doesn't get hurt, he's the guy. There's something there, man. And I think with Adams spreading the field open a little bit more, it's going to open things up for Kyron, who continues to develop and get better every single year. I like Kyron. I like him more than James Cook. I like him more than Chase Brown. I don't think Chase Brown's going to be alone. I think they draft somebody there in Cincy. I've talked about this in a lot of videos. I'm going to continue to talk about it. When you have a guy who's drafted in the 4th or 5th round, which is Chase Brown was, the teams don't typically believe in him. Going back to Algier, I'm going to keep giving this example. Algier, 1,000-yard rusher. They draft Byjan the year after. So I think Chase Brown's in that same Algier type situation where he's not going to be the guy. But if they don't draft anybody, man, oh man. I mean, Chase Brown's got a huge opportunity with a high-octane offense. I just don't believe you spend 120 million a year on your top 3 offensive weapons with Burrow, Higgins, and Chase, and then you run Chase Brown. It doesn't make sense to me. He's good, but he's no outstanding Saquon. They needed somebody really good, man. If you want to spend that much on your offense and you're running a Chase Brown, you got to step it up. And again, not to take anything from Chase Brown, but he was a 4th round pick. It's just, you guys get what I'm saying, right? You got to always aim high. But I like Kyron Williams here, though. I like him because, for the reasons I explained, he's the man there, okay? I think the Rams are going to be a decent offense this year. Bucky Irving came off later, just after Drake London, Chase Brown, James Cook, and McCaffrey coming off round 3. Now, I did a mock draft a week or 2 ago, and I was liking the value of Christian McCaffrey round 3 after I went with my true running backs, and he was coming off in the 3rd round, so I'm like, there's some value there. We're going to stick with the robust RB strategy. And what does robust RB strategy mean? I look at it as drafting at least 3 running backs within the first 5 rounds, and your focus is running back, especially with those first 2 picks. They got to be running back, robust or bust, robust RB strategy. That's my definition of what robust RB strategy is. You really are all in on this running back position. That being said, since I've got my 2 running backs, I can look at an ace quarterback here. I can take a look at Josh Allen. It doesn't mean I'm stuck to a running back because it's the best available player here what I'm looking at, this third round, and the options here, we got Mixon, Chuba, and Walker. And I'm not really, and Connor, I'm not crazy in all three of those guys. Maybe I can get a rookie a round or two later. Maybe Hampton, depending on where he lands, comes off round 4 or 5. In that case, I'm 100% going Josh Allen here, right? I've got my 2 workhorse running backs, depending on where Gentry falls, right? I feel pretty solid there. And then I get my ace quarterback here in Josh Allen. Boom, right? Now, I'm not deterring from my robust RB strategy. All I'm doing is grabbing a better player in the third round. I can come back and get a rookie that could absolutely break out. See, now we're looking at Omari and Hampton, who I think could still fall. But again, it depends where he lands. If he lands on a good team in a situation, Hampton could be coming off round 2 for all we know. We don't know. Again, this is pre-NFL draft here, but it's almost like, because I waited around, I'm getting similar caliber running backs here by waiting around instead of spending it in the third round for them. Does that make sense, guys? Right? I'm always about like common sense and logic. I don't draft the best available player just because he's next on consensus or because the computer tells me so. And all these, draft sites have a certain player. I don't draft like that. I draft on what I feel will give me the best optimal roster, maximizing my positions, aiming high on the depth chart, and making my team is solidified, okay? This is huge. Huge strategy. And last year, people thought I was crazy because I faded Debo's in the Ayuks in the third round, and I was shooting for Josh Allen in the third round. That was kind of where his ADP was, but I was like completely like, don't look at any wide receivers round 3. Just don't do it. And Allen was my guy, and it worked out. And that's the thing, right? You got to look at like what's available, right? And really just make a decision, not based on what you're seeing here, right? Like David Montgomery in round 3 or 4, I think he's viable, but he got hurt last year. And Jahmyr Gibbs is really much better than David Montgomery. And that's a fact. I'm not lying, right? Nothing but truth here. So that being said, I don't trust him here. Najee, at the time of this recording, if the Chargers end up drafting a guy like Hampton there or something like that, then we got a bit of a situation. But I can see some of these running backs that are coming in surpassing a guy like Najee Harris. Najee's in a good place as long as they don't draft anybody else. But what's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Tyrone, that offense definitely gets a boost. Could be some value there as my RB3. I think Pacheco's safe. He's been doing some good offseason training. But again, I'm more inclined to look at like a Henderson or like, a Judkins or something like that later, depending on where they land. But that's why I feel warm and fuzzy with these two. Once you go wide receiver, then you're looking at, like, if you go robust wide receiver, right? Essentially a 0 RB. Now you're looking at Pacheco, Tracy, Najee, Aaron Jones, who's washed up as your RB1. And that's not good, man. I don't like that. That doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy, right? I take a quick glance at wide receiver, see what's available. I do like Marvin Harrison Jr. taking a step up this year. So as you can still see, you can get wide receiver ones. We're already in the 4th round. Tons of wide receiver ones. Like there's McMillan who's coming in as a rookie. We'll see where he lands. Still a bunch of wide receiver ones. It's not sexy, but Calvin Ridley here, you can get much later, right? Rome Odunze takes a step up this year. And again, if you want all the sleepers, guys, everything is in the 16-round draft, so just make sure you guys do grab that. So since we're on the robust RB strategy, we take a quick glance at robust RB. Based on what's going on with Najee, if he's on the Chargers and he remains the starter, that as my RB3, it makes sense. I almost like Omari and Hampton as well, but I think I could wait another round. But let's go Najee Harris here, assuming they don't draft anybody else, assuming he's the running back 1, okay? So to wrap this 4th round here, let's go through it. Hurts, Daniels. I love Daniels this year. Hopefully he doesn't have a slump like CJ Stroud did. Jackson Smith, I think he takes a step up this year. Chuba, Walker, Kamara. I don't draft Kamara. He's had no 1,000-yard rushing season, which is amazing. I'm not a believer. His entire season. I know he's a receiving back, whatever. Najee Harris, still, you got to rush for 1,000 yards, dude. Najee, McBride, Connor, Hampton. See, there's Hampton. He came out from the 4th, and that's going to happen, man. As soon as people find out where he lands, I wouldn't be surprised if coming off round 2. Again, depending on where he lands, right? Hampton is like, there's some talent there, man. I'm telling you, just go watch his tape. Go look at him. Look at his stats. Montgomery, Wilson. Start off round 3. Like the guy at Pollards of the world, I have no interest in these guys. Pacheco. There you got McMillan, the rookie, depending on where he lands. Brian Robinson. And then you got Adams here in round 5. So now we're at the 5. We're going to finish this off here. I take a look at quarterback. We still have Baker, who I think is safe. Not excited about him. Mahomes, Goff is super safe. Not so much in Dynasty, but in redraft could be solid this year. Kyler, Herbert, I think has a good year. Bo Nix, I like. So there's still quarterbacks you can get if you passed on Allen here. Maybe you went wide receiver. But I'm going to take a quick glance at running back here. This is run the robust. I could go Tracy here. I could go Henderson, take a flyer here, take a chance. Judkins here. I don't know what team they're on at this time is recording, so I don't know. But I'd be inclined to just grab a Henderson here and just roll with it, or a Judkins, right? Something like that. We definitely need wide receiver. You could roll the dice on, not even roll the dice, but like he's a wide receiver 1. He's going to get a lot of targets, Marvin Harrison. And we're getting a 3-round discount based on where we got him last year. So, or where he was coming off. I had no stock in him except for one league where I tried 0 RB. It was a disaster. I went against the grain in that league. I talk about it. Bad. Never doing that again. But I like the Marvin Harrison value. I'm getting a true wide receiver 1. I'm not a Kyler Murray fan, but I'm getting a wide receiver 1 in the 5th round after I've got 3 workhorse running backs at the time of this recording who are going to be the starters. I think Kyron solidified his position. I think wherever Genty lands, he's going to solidify his position. I just don't know if Najee is the one there. If he is the one, if they don't draft anybody else, he's got minimal competition the way this sits now. He's the one. He takes a step up in a better situation. I'm not a Najee fan. Don't trust me. I'm not. I was his rookie year, but he absolutely crapped the bed in Pittsburgh. He was lackluster. He runs into piles. His vision sucks. He runs hard on a couple runs here and there, but the way that it sits right now, if he's on the Chargers, he's in a better situation and he's going to get the volume. But I think they draft somebody. I could be wrong. Okay. So the way that it sits now, we got Genty, Williams, Allen, Najee, 3 workhorse running backs, and we can still get a ton of wide receiver 1s later. So that's what robust RB looks like, drafting from the 6th position to give you guys the idea of the landscape. All right. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like the robust? Is this making sense to you? You want to secure the most scarce position and you want to get those workhorses early while anchoring your team with a nice quarterback, and you can still get wide receivers later. Now, this is what I teach in the 16-round drafts. If you have not got it, make sure you guys do secure the 16-round drafts, which I've linked it below. Use code EARLY to save 25%. You can get in right now. The first release comes out on 2 weeks after the NFL draft. All right. Listen, I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to keep doing these mock drafts, looking at different scenarios. After the NFL draft, it's going to be really, really eye-opening to see where these guys land, okay? Hope you had fun. Robust RB, that's my favorite strategy. Let me know what you guys think. Are you going robust or are you going to bust? Drop a comment below. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and follow on social media channels. We'll talk soon. I appreciate you. I'm out.